The mansion rose above the city like a polished promise, all glass walls and pale stone, reflecting the sky by day and swallowing light by night. Inside, everything was immaculate, too immaculate, some thought, as if life itself had been warned not to leave fingerprints. The staff moved softly across marble floors, their steps measured, their voices low. Even laughter, when it happened, sounded rehearsed, quickly smothered. This was not a house that welcomed noise. This was a house that demanded control. At the center of that control was Eliza Moreau. Her presence announced itself before she ever entered a room. A subtle straightening of backs, a sudden urgency in hands already busy, eyes flicking toward doorways. She was beautiful in a way that felt deliberate, every line of her tailored dresses precise, every strand of hair obediently in place. She wore calm like armor, her expression cool, observant, impossible to read. People said she never forgot a mistake. People said she enjoyed the power of silence more than shouting. People said many things, mostly in whispers, mostly when they were sure she was nowhere near. She was engaged to Lucien Moreau, the billionaire whose name crowned skyscrapers and investment reports alike. But in the house, it was Eliza who inspired fear. Lucien was distant, often gone, a presence defined by schedules and assistants. Eliza was here, always watching, always assessing. On Anna's first morning, she stood just inside the servants' entrance, clutching her bag, absorbing the unspoken tension in the air. She had worked in large homes before, but this felt different. The quiet was heavier, layered with expectation. A senior housekeeper briskly explained the rules without calling them rules, how things were done, what was preferred, what was never forgiven. Eliza's name was mentioned only once, but it didn't need repeating. "You'll be in the East Wing today," the housekeeper said, glancing at her clipboard. "Keep to your tasks. If you see Miss Moreau, step aside." Anna nodded. She was good at nodding. She had learned early in life when it was safer to listen than to speak. Still, as she walked down the long corridor toward the East Wing, something in her chest tightened, not fear exactly, but a quiet resistance to it. The East Wing was bathed in soft light filtered through sheer curtains. It smelled faintly of expensive perfume and old books. Anna began dusting, moving carefully, noticing details others might overlook, the way furniture was positioned to face windows rather than people, the untouched vases, the faint scuff marks on the floor near the sofa, as if someone paced there often. From the adjacent sitting room came the faint sound of breathing, controlled, then suddenly sharp, uneven. Anna froze, cloth in hand. Her first instinct was to retreat. She knew the stories. She knew what happened to those who crossed invisible lines. Her heart beat faster as another strained breath reached her ears, followed by a low sound, almost a gasp, quickly swallowed. She told herself it was none of her business. She told herself she was here to clean, not to notice. But the sound came again, unmistakable now, and with it a realization that unsettled her more than fear: whoever was in that room was hurting. Anna stood there for several long seconds. The house seemed to lean inward, waiting to see what she would do. Somewhere deep inside her, a memory surfaced, her mother once, sitting at the kitchen table late at night, insisting she was fine while gripping her side the same way. No one had helped then. Everyone had been too afraid of being wrong, of interfering, of consequences. Anna set the cloth down. She stepped into the sitting room quietly. Eliza sat on the sofa, posture rigid, her gaze fixed on nothing. One hand pressed against her ribs, knuckles white, the other gripping the armrest as if anchoring herself. On the table lay a glass of water and a small amber bottle with a white label. Anna recognized the look immediately, not weakness, but determination strained to its limit. For a moment, Eliza didn't notice her. The room felt suspended in time, the powerful woman stripped of performance, alone with something she could not command. When Eliza finally looked up and saw Anna, her eyes flashed, not with anger first, but with alarm, quickly reshaped into authority. "What are you doing here?" Eliza said sharply. Anna stopped a few steps away. Her instinct to apologize, to retreat, rose up, but she held it back. She kept her voice steady. "I heard something. I wanted to make sure everything was all right." Eliza's jaw tightened. "You were not invited. Go back to your work." The words were precise, practiced. Anna understood this was the moment others spoke about later, the moment you misstepped and paid for it. The weight of the house pressed down on her again, urging obedience. Instead, she stayed where she was. "I'm sorry," Anna said, and meant it. "But you don't look all right." The silence that followed was profound. It felt as if the walls themselves were listening. Eliza stared at her, disbelief flickering across her face. No one spoke to her this way. Not staff. Not friends. Perhaps not even Lucian. For an instant, Anna thought she had gone too far. She waited for the command that would end her employment before it truly began. But Eliza's gaze dropped, just slightly, toward the hand pressed against her side. Her breath caught again, and this time she didn't fully hide it. "It's nothing," Eliza said, though the words lacked conviction. She straightened, forcing control back into her posture, as if sitting taller could banish pain. Anna nodded slowly. She did not argue. She did not step closer. She simply remained present, unafraid to see what everyone else avoided. Outside the sitting room, the mansion continued its quiet routine, unaware that something fragile had cracked open inside its most feared walls. And in that small moment, unnoticed, undocumented, the balance of the house shifted, just enough to be felt later, when people tried to remember when everything began to change. Eliza's fingers tightened against the sofa as another wave of pain rolled through her, sharp enough to steal the breath from her lungs. She hated moments like this, hated the betrayal of her own body, the way it forced her to pause when the world expected her to be unshakable. She had learned long ago that power depended on perception, and perception depended on never letting anyone see the cracks. Especially not staff. Especially not a stranger. "What are you waiting for?" she snapped, lifting her chin as Anna remained standing there, quiet and unmoving. "I told you to go." Anna met her gaze, and to Eliza's surprise, there was no fear in her eyes. No calculation either. Just concern, raw, unguarded, and terribly inconvenient. "I just want to help," Anna said again, her voice low, respectful but firm. "If you want me to leave after, I will." The audacity of the offer stunned Eliza. Help, without conditions, without gossip, without leverage. She opened her mouth to dismiss the girl, to remind her exactly where she stood in this house, but another surge of pain made the words crumble. Her breath hitched, a small, traitorous sound that echoed in the room. Anna didn't rush forward. That, too, surprised Eliza. She waited, as if giving her the dignity of choice. On the table, the prescription bottle caught the light. Eliza followed Anna's glance to it and felt a flash of irritation. She had meant to take it earlier. She always meant to. But the pills were an admission, a reminder that the image she projected was just that, an image. "It's nothing serious," Eliza said, though her voice was quieter now. "You don't need to concern yourself." Anna stepped closer, slowly, then knelt beside the table so she wasn't towering over her. The simple act shifted something in the room. No one ever knelt before Eliza unless they were fixing a shoe or cleaning the floor. This was different. This was not submission. "May I?" Anna asked, gesturing gently toward the bottle. Eliza hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to refuse. But exhaustion weighed heavier than pride in that moment. She gave a small, reluctant nod. Anna picked up the bottle, read the label, and frowned, not in judgment, but recognition. "You're supposed to take this with food," she said softly. "And water. Have you eaten today?" Eliza scoffed weakly. "I don't have time for lunch." Anna's lips pressed together, a subtle sign of disapproval that would have infuriated Eliza under any other circumstances. Instead, it felt strangely grounding. "Pain doesn't care about schedules," Anna replied. Something inside Eliza cracked at that, an unexpected, dangerous emotion rising to the surface. She turned her face away, blinking hard. "You shouldn't speak to me like this," she said, though there was no real threat behind the words. "I know," Anna said. "But someone should." The silence that followed was heavy but no longer sharp. Eliza's hand loosened on the armrest, her grip easing as if she had been holding on for years and was finally allowed to rest. She closed her eyes, just for a second. "I can't afford to look weak," she whispered, the confession slipping out before she could stop it. "Not here. Not to anyone." Anna stayed kneeling, her presence steady. "Being in pain isn't weakness," she said. "Pretending you aren't, that's just lonely." The words landed with quiet force. Eliza laughed softly, a humorless sound. "You don't know anything about my life." "No," Anna agreed. "But I know what it looks like when someone carries everything alone." Eliza studied her then, really studied her. The plain uniform, the tired eyes that had seen hardship, the calm courage it took to remain kneeling in front of someone everyone feared. This girl had nothing to gain by staying. Nothing to lose by leaving. And yet she was still here. "Get me something to eat," Eliza said suddenly. "Something small." Anna smiled, just a little, and rose to her feet. "I'll be right back." When she returned with soup and bread, Eliza watched her from the sofa, wary and curious all at once. Anna set the tray down carefully, poured fresh water, and placed the pill beside the bowl without comment. Eliza took it. The simple act felt monumental. As she swallowed, warmth spread through her chest, not just from the soup, but from the unfamiliar relief of not having to fight alone. She leaned back, closing her eyes again, her breathing slowly evening out. "Thank you," she said quietly, the words foreign on her tongue. Anna inclined her head. "I'll stay nearby, just in case." "You're not afraid of me," Eliza observed. Anna met her gaze. "I think you've been afraid long enough for everyone." Eliza had no response to that. As Anna stepped back toward the door, Eliza felt something shift inside her, not weakness, but release. The house, once ruled by unspoken dread, felt different now. Lighter. As if fear had finally been acknowledged, and in doing so, lost its grip. Later that evening, staff would whisper in confusion when they saw Anna still working, still employed, still untouched by consequences. They would notice Eliza walking the halls with less sharpness in her eyes, less distance in her step. No one would know exactly what had changed. But everyone would feel it.